Hey, what's going on, guys? Alright, so I just took that other video that you saw, the spot video, and I'm actually going to upload it right now from my phone. But, what are the chances of finding a screw just as you're getting back in that you just picked up because you pulled off the side of the road? I mean, this is a sheet metal screw that I would have definitely gotten a flat tire from. So I'm still at that same spot, and I'm just going to upload that right now. Actually, I'll listen to it real quick just to see. Something happened that was kind of funny. I pulled off here, this side of the highway here. This is just looks pretty good. An off ramp. So you can see all the cars going by. We'll just send that right up. I think I was going to do a video inside the truck. All right, so a couple things. This one's going to be kind of a long talking, driving video. Some interesting topic, though. And one of them is why I'm choosing the Class C over any, like a van or a Class B. Now, I'm just going to touch on that a little bit. And what my main plan is as far as money and what I was planning on doing and why I'm doing it, and stuff like that. I mean, in my intro video, I talked about why being, living life to the fullest and just having more time in general and not having to really work as like we do. We spend so much of our life working and not enough enjoying family, friends, and things like that. So that's what this video is going to be. I'm going to get moving here in a second. Alright, so this might end up being the first video you see using the Drift Ghost, which is in the back there. You might even see it through the mirror, I'm not quite sure. But I did do some snow shots and things like that with the bipod. The Drift Ghost has this nice little remote. You see it blinking red, that means you're recording. And it looks like we got a lot of traffic, so guess what? We get to talk while I'm in traffic. Now, I am using the lapel mic, so I'm hoping the sound comes out pretty good. All right, so I'm choosing the Class C because I just feel having parts readily available, and this is the main reason. Having parts readily available and being able to work on them myself. Now, I had a conversion van in the past. If I can find a picture of it, I know I have some, I'll throw it in the video when I edit this one. But and I've done a lot of work to it. The second thing is, even like the windshields on like a Class A, they're big bucks, man. They could be thousands of dollars. One rock goes up, hits the windshield. It could be very expensive. Also, the large windows like that, I find it hard to believe that you can black it out, or really, I don't want to say stealth. It is a Class A. You're not going to be out there stealth. That'd be ridiculous. But I just don't want people looking in, things like that. So my other video that I showed about buying an ex-rental Class C, looking at those, they were very basic, and it kind of fit my needs. Now, I'm 6'4", okay, 245 pounds, give or take. I have a size 13 shoe, and just getting around a Class B would be difficult for me. I couldn't imagine spending large amounts of time in a Class B, and that's me. I give a lot of credit for guys that can do it, so I need something that I can comfortably shower in daily. I do like to wake up in the morning, take a nice shower, get ready for work, things like that. So having the Class C is important to me. What else? Fuel economy, really isn't a big issue. It's kind of like these tractor trailers on each side of me. They're burning wicked amounts of fuel every time they go back and forth. But you know something? They budget for it, and they do what they have to do to be able to pay that cost. And that's kind of what I'm thinking. Yeah, if I was traveling the country, it would be nice to get, 16 miles to the gallon rather than 10 miles to the gallon. But in the grand scheme of things, to have the extra room, to have that space, the full bathroom, the full shower, to me, refrigerator, kitchen, I love to cook, is worth the extra cost to me. I don't really spend that much time alone. So I want something that I can entertain, or I can have people over, or whatever. I mean, I would be watching the Super Bowl, in the RV with a couple buddies or something like that. So the extra space was kind of important to me. Now, why not a Class A? Like I said before, privacy-wise, maneuverability. I'm not always out in the country or the open roads. So a Class A was just not feasible as far as cost and just the sheer size of it, the height. They're beautiful, and if I was to travel the country, gas not being an issue, obviously, and retired, and I just wanted to cruise around and go place to place and live in it, and I would love the extra room, a nice 35-foot Class A, with the center island and, captain's chairs and, the whole 9 yards. I mean, it's like a house, but it's really not what I need. So for me, the best of all worlds, best of everything was the Class C. And Class C is not perfect either. Trust me when I tell you. You have, obviously 6 tires that you have to replace. So there are negatives to it. The cab area is pretty much a wasted space, sitting in the front driving. You have the 2 seats. So when I really thought about it, the Class C was the way to go. So that's a set decision. And I'm pretty sure now that the rental is going to be the decision I've made. I talked to a guy in Kissimmee, Florida, just outside of Orlando there, or right by Orlando, with Cruise America. He has 2008 and 2009 models for right around $20,000, but they have 150,000 miles on them. I think that's going to be the best way to go for me, because I really don't want an awning right off the get-go. I don't want a lot of the options. They have less windows in them. They have a larger fuel tank. They have a single stainless steel sink instead of the dual stainless steel sinks, which I would prefer the dual, but I can put that in. There's other things that they have and don't have because they're built specifically for Cruise America. They have heavier wood cabinets. But the most important thing is they have all the maintenance records and everything else. Now, when you buy an RV from a seller, he's trying to sell it and cut his losses or make as much money as he can. And he doesn't really care about what happens to it or what his reputation is after you purchase it and leave. Okay? If he got on YouTube and said, hey, that John guy, sold me this and it was a piece of junk, how many people would actually open up that video and watch it and know who that John guy is? So, with that being said, and a fleet vehicle like Cruise America or a company like that, they have a reputation to uphold. They have to keep their reputation good or they will lose business. It's in their livelihood. So I believe, 90% of their maintenance records will be accurate. They also do a full refurb process. They paint it, they reseal it, they reupholster, new mattresses, new beds, and they basically go through the whole thing. They say they look pretty much like new. And that's kind of important to me, Now, living in it is the other issue, To live in an RV like, Nomadic Fanatic, to live in something like he's got, I just don't want to spend that much time working on it. I mean, the troubles that he's had, Tilley's a great RV, don't get me wrong. I love the older classic RVs. But I'm not looking to get myself into another huge project right now. I have enough projects going on that I'm downsizing and trying to get rid of. I'm selling and giving away and putting to the curb many projects that I've just said, something, in the future, I don't see a need for this. I don't want to invest any more money into it. I don't want to invest any more of my time into it. Okay, so that being said, that is why I'm thinking the newer RV is better. In addition to living in it and not wanting to have the projects, it seems like every used RV that I've looked at had right around 50,000 miles. And the coach part of it, the house part of it, was totally played. I mean, it was totally either completely outdated to the point of it looking like it came out of the 70s, or it was just worn out. I mean, it was just, whether it was water damage or just neglect inside, not being kept clean, whatever the case may be, you have a chassis that's only got 50,000 miles on it, but the coach is 14 years old, and it hasn't been driven much. So all the seals are dry rotted, tires are dry rotted, brake lines are rusted because it's been sitting in the grass rather than on a paved surface or whatever the case may be. So the more and more I look at that, we have some Humvee, military Humvees. I don't know if you guys can see those go by, but the more and more I think about it, it really seems like the rental one's the way I should go. I mean, and just use the hell out of it and do the work to it. I mean, I'm going to be drilling holes in it, mounting solar panels. I was speaking to somebody on YouTube about small wind turbines for sailboats, and having something, I have this little design drawn up for a pole that mounts to the hitch, that will erect it up to 15 feet in the air. So, for parking at the beach and things like that on a cloudy day, if I could just prop up a 300 watt wind turbine for a few hours, if I need the power, rather than run the generator, that might be an option as well. So that's that. Now, how am I going to make all this possible? No, I do not come from money. I do not have a wealthy family. I work hard. I work very hard. In fact, many days I wake up, I go to work, I get out of work, I go back to work at my second job, and I get out of there at night, and it's pretty much time to just have a little snack and go to bed. I'm doing that right now to pay off my bills. So by doing that, I'm tripling credit card payments and mortgage payments and everything else. So, and that is working very well. I'm a huge fan of Mr. Ramsey. He's a financial guy. He kind of helps people out. He has a radio show. I have a link to his channel on my... Sorry, I gotta get over one. On my page. He does a baby step program on how you should eliminate all debt. And I believe with a lot of what he says. So that's kind of where I'm going. I started off with my smallest bill, my smallest credit card, and I just started paying it. And when it was paid off, let's say it was $100 a month, I was paying $2. So I'm paying $200 a month, plus I'm still paying all the rest of my bills. Once that one was paid off, I went to my next one. Now let's say that next bill, the next largest bill, was $100 a month also. Well, now I'm paying $300 a month on that one specific bill. $300 a month, because I was paying all along $200 on the first one and $100 on that one. Now that I'm not paying the $200 on the first one anymore, I now have $200 extra. So I added it to the $100 I was paying, $300. That $300 a month will go on the next one. So if I'm paying $100 on my third bill, I now have $300 extra to put on that once that one's gone, and I'll be paying $400 a month on that one. You see how it's a snowball effect, and actually that's what he calls it. He calls it getting rid of, your debt using the debt snowball. Okay. So I'm hoping by the end of this summer, most of my finances will be squared away, and I can do this seriously. Okay, so now that that's out of the way on as far as finances and things like that, I mean, this is just a basic talk about them. I don't want to right now get into specifics of a detailed list, which I will do eventually. I will give you guys a running itemization. I'm actually looking at building a blog that will have all that information, and I will update it on a weekly basis once the time comes. I'd like to have that so that anybody watching my videos and choose to possibly or might want to do this, they don't have to keep sending me messages or emailing me or leaving comments asking me those questions. I'd rather volunteer that information and make it, a resource for everybody out there. There's no reason not to. The other thing that's important with this whole process, which I don't believe has been discussed with any other the RV dwellers or van dwellers or anybody else, is, retirement. Will Burson, he's got a good plan going, and he's given as much information as I believe he can without getting into personal details that somebody can use against him just to be a jerk. But a lot of these guys are traveling and doing what they're doing, but I just hope they're doing something for later on in life. It's very important to not cash in all your chips too early in life, because then when the time comes and you realize that you're getting older, there might not be anything there, and it gets harder and harder to find jobs the older you get. Yeah, you can work at Walmart, you can work little jobs here and there when you're retired to make a few extra bucks, but if you're not putting into Social Security for many years and you're not saving anything for retirement, you're going to be in some trouble and you get older in life. Medical insurance is not getting any cheaper, and living expenses is not getting cheaper. Things can change very rapidly, health-wise or legally. That you won't be able to live in your van through retirement. You might not want to in that stage of your life. You might, things change, life changes. This change that, I'm going through now is a change that I want to happen, but I can't say that 10 years from now I'm going to want to still be doing it. So that's just a word of caution to you guys out there that do watch my videos, that are considering this type of lifestyle of living mobily, or living in a vehicle, or even a tiny home or anything like that. To not blow it, to not overlook certain things such as your health insurance, your retirement planning, and things like that. That's just very important. You want to ask me any questions specifically about it, we can have a little discussion about it. But so that's kind of where I was going with that. I'm not quite sure how this camera is doing with the view here of just sitting in traffic. I know, not very exciting for you guys. I'll probably do this video in 2 parts, so that I can just continue on without rambling too much. I tend to like to do shorter videos. Under 15 minutes is was my goal, without it being an instructional video or a specific video that just takes longer, such as like the smoothie video I did with the kale smoothies. Hey, it's all a journey, right? We're all learning.